This is about a passion driven by raw need and perhaps an impossible dream. This is my house, growing older, it and me. It's a lot to maintain, plus my carbon footprint is off the charts. But when I sell it, I won't walk away with much money. Yes, I'm one of those people who has not managed to save that $500,000 we're all supposed to retire with. Working longer will only help a little bit. Where to go? A subsidized senior apartment? These are intended for people with fewer resources than I, and the need is so great that the waiting lists are measured in years. But also with luck, I might have at least 10 or maybe even 20 years of active life. I'd love to still own my own place, especially when I'll be in it more. This niche I'm in, needing a very modest place of my own, isn't only about older single people. Many Vermonters want or need to spend a smaller portion of their budgets on housing. Rental prices are so high, and what is there to buy? At my price point on Zillow right now, guess how many properties fit my budget? It isn't 0, it's 1. This condo. It's not much better outside of Chittenden County either. And I don't want to move to Florida. There's already a housing crisis for very low-income people, but those of us who have some assets also need roofs over our heads. Young families, single parents, people who want to stay in Vermont. I wonder, will we find creative solutions? One solution is co-housing, and it's beautiful, but it's a long, complex development process and quite expensive. A small second-floor unit in Bristol co-housing goes for about $250K, though there are some subsidies. The residences are very energy efficient, but still, they're out of reach for so many. A tiny house can be affordable. They are very tiny. They're only about 10 feet wide for portability, and my wingspan is 5 feet. But I dare to hope that their popularity is a sign that we are headed towards smaller homes somehow. Homes measuring just 1,000 square feet were the norm in the 50s. Is there any way they could make a comeback? And 1,000 square feet is not unusual in the United Kingdom. For a family home, I knew middle-class Brits raising children with half-sized refrigerators in their houses. Of course, they do go down to the pub for a cold beer. I want and need to own less if I'm going to afford an art class with Leslie, or a music class, going to Montreal for the day, writing a book. I just hope some people are going to get together with some visionary professionals and try to crack this in-between housing need. It's going to take a lot of us banding together, I think. We may be meeting some of those visionaries here tonight. This is a place that got me thinking about space. It's 800 square feet. I didn't want the whole big country property. I just wanted the space over the garage. It's beautiful. 800 square feet. But I also need community. This is a year-round community created by a Maine developer. 130,000 for less than 700 square feet. People also have a large common space for parties and exercising, and there are storage units and garages available. 33 units of varying sizes have sold like hotcakes. I am told this is utterly impossible in Vermont. People laugh at me. Some of you may be laughing now. Costs are so much higher here. But what if young and old started clamoring for something like this in quantity so we can stay in Vermont? What would have to change for this to be possible? One thing that is happening here, this is a new kind of mobile home from a company called Vermont. They build these units down near White River Junction. And, traditional trailers deteriorate, they lose value. These are going to hold their value because they're built so differently. The walls are about yay thick. Vermont also builds a cottage style. At 400 square feet, this one is just too small, but the design can be modified. The energy costs are really low, and Efficiency Vermont is offering grants and incentives. The idea is to get more Vermonters of limited means into homes that will retain value. Of course, you need a site, land, water, sewer, power. This is what gets expensive. So far, these have been placed mostly in existing mobile home parks, but some owners have put them on their own private land. And as I said, they can be customized. You can add L's, change the roof line. In some places, friends are banding together to build small. Again, these are smaller than I envision, and Texas and Vermont are obviously very different, but they need to keep heat out almost as much as we need to keep it in. I don't think I'd want to share a kitchen, but if the savings meant I could take the occasional trip, maybe, I don't know. There's a visionary guy in New Hampshire who wants to get costs way down to $140 a square foot instead of the usual $200 to $300, while keeping quality high. Like the Vermods, indoor modular construction is the key. And it makes so much sense in New England, building indoors during the winter. Going in a completely different direction, could people band together and condoize larger properties, like this big B&B? There are all kinds of financing and legal hassles which I don't know how to solve. I'd love to see some help coming on that from the public sector and how to do that kind of thing. We have to think outside the box, to use a cliche. As Ken showed us, there are new ideas that abound. These are hollow wooden bricks made in France. They get filled with wood chip insulation, the debris from making the bricks, and anybody can hammer them into place. And apparently they're earthquake-proof, very energy efficient. There's probably all kinds of reasons we can't do it in Vermont. For one thing, who would get rich if we could build our own walls? People tell me some of Vermont's best minds can't crack this problem, but let's imagine more sustainable homes, not tiny, but just right. You may say I'm a dreamer, but surely I'm not the only one.